Welcome to the Support Center. My name is Tom. I'm going to talk about domain names, SSL certificates, and some different email options. So let's dive in here. So when you set up your website with Homeschool-Life or Service Life or SQL-Life, you receive a website URL. Here's an example. So for the sample site, my URL would be www.homeschool-life.com/co for Colorado/sample. And people can type that in and they get right to my website. However, that's kind of a long name, a little bit difficult for people to understand. So the solution would be have them set up or have you set up and register a domain name. So you can register a domain name. Here's a couple examples, GIAC and flagstaffhomeschool.org. Here's some examples. And these domain names actually forward to your website URL. So if I click on GIAC's, I'll see that it's opening up to their website, to their homepage, and here's the address it's forwarding to. And Flagstaff does about the same thing, going to a little bit different address, but same idea. With both of these, you'll see that homeschool-life.com still remains in that URL. So those are called website forwards or URL forwarding. So you have a couple options here. You can register your own domain name, and you can go into your domain name provider or your registrar. You can create a URL forward. I'll show you what I do through GoDaddy. So we use GoDaddy for our domain names. So with GIAC, and I'm logged into my GoDaddy account, I'm looking at the GIAC DNS management. And I would go down to a feature that GoDaddy offers called forwarding, and it's pointed to HTTPS, and I've got it forwarding to their full Homeschool-Life URL. It's a permanent forward, and it's forward only. Don't turn on the masking feature. Some providers offer this. It'll create an SSL certificate error. So forwarding only to your URL, save the changes, and that's how that works. And whoever your registrar is, you can set these up. Most providers offer URL forwarding, and that's what we support as well. So you can set those up yourself, no charge, of course, through us. You just would pay your registrar for your domain name. Another option is to, if you have a domain name, transfer to us, and we'll manage these things for you. We charge $35 a year for domain name management. Or if you don't have a domain name, we can register one for you. Just I can help you pick one out, or if you've got one you want me to look for. So those are the basic domain name features where it actually forwards to your Homeschool-Life or Service Life or SQL-Life URL. All right, the next option is adding a SSL certificate, or actually adding your domain name to our SSL certificate. We charge $59 for this feature. We would have to manage your domain name. You can't manage your own to add your domain name to our SSL. And so what happens here is a little bit different. So if I check out this site here, you will see that for Hill Country, their domain name always stays in the top of their browser address bar. And if I go to a different page, I'll still see that that's still there. Pretty much no matter what page I go to, I will see that that is still there in the URL address bar field. Okay, so that's partly what an SSL does. Here's my tlcnj.com. I'll open that one. You'll see this is doing the same thing. Okay, so that helps in a few different things. It helps with your SEO results, your search engine optimization. People are more likely to find your group if they're searching for you and you actually have an SSL for your domain name. Another really nice feature if you have an SSL with us is you can actually put in unique names for some of your pages and tools. So here, their statement of faith page, I created one for them. So it's mytlcnj.com/statement of faith. I created this and it takes me to their statement of faith page. And you can do that if you have an SSL for just about any of your pages. So those are some of the nice features of an SSL. Again, for us to add an SSL, we need to manage your domain name as well. Some additional features that we also offer are forwarding email addresses. And again, we have to manage your domain name, and then we can add an email address to it. We can add up to 5 of these if you'd like. So a forwarding email address is think of this as an email alias. It's not an actual email box, it's an alias. So in my example here, I just set up Michelle at mytlcnj.com. That's not actually a legitimate address. I'm just showing an example. And it simply forwards to training. So Michelle doesn't have any way of checking this box. It's not an actual email box. She can't send from it. But if someone were to send to this address, it would forward to the training at homeschool-life.com. So that's a forwarding address. Again, these don't cost us. We don't charge you for them either. Another option is we can create email accounts, and email accounts are actually email boxes. You can use a web browser to check these. You can use any email application that supports IMAC protocol, so you could use Apple Mail, you could use Outlook, a bunch of different things you can use to actually check an actual mailbox you can send and receive from. These cost us, and we pass that cost on to you. Those are $30 a year. Again, it's an add-on, so we again would need to host your domain name before we can add any of these three things on. So there you have it. There's the domain names. You can add a top level to that. You can add free forwarding email addresses, or you can add an email account to those, and there's fees associated. And these fees do change occasionally, so maybe in the future this video may not be 100% accurate, but we try to hold to these as close as we can. The prices change based on what our provider charges us as well. If you need further assistance, you can reach me through the Create a Ticket link on your admin homepage.